Yeah. 1 2 1 2. Check, check. You already know what it is. Morris MC. Yeah, yo. All praise due to Allah, no bow ties. On my tracks, rappers get the warp speed blow-bys. Stay in my lane around corners, one man, no eyes, Cyclops Bay. Covenant not new like polites. Running a fraud, you paid 4,300. Lord, this in the legend. Typical coon and reverence. But people support getting played rock for birthrights. It's not about fiat, your energy quenches their thirst, right? Vampires and warlocks speak with finesse in their speech. Subconscious mind traps won't release, detecting a breach. They diss and they prophet, Drew Ali, they diss and they creed. Before you follow dirty Moors, listen to me. Every Moor is not your bro, most of them sold out. Ask Khalid, Malcolm, Shabazz, and the ones that know about getting stabbed in their back for talking about rights. Minus the civil, notwithstanding, like a cripple. You better think nowadays, fam, use your head. The only savior is you, the priesthood is dead. You better think nowadays, fam, use your head. The only savior is you, priesthood is dead. You better think nowadays, fam, use your head. The only savior is you, priesthood is dead. You better think nowadays, fam, use your head. The only savior is you. Middlemen come calling themselves prophets and God sense, claiming they're sovereign, following hillbilly nonsense, saying Moors are wrong, taking things out of context. Stupidity of conscious blacks is an inferior complex, following leaders that won't go with you off the cliff, lying about slavery and even about slave ships, robbing the ignorant, saying papers filed federal under the jurisdiction of attorney generals, claiming straw men for credit in a debt system. Yes, bonds from the treasury are really from the IMF. I am just saying what I see from the conscious, begging for donations while acting obnoxious with no solutions. 1,500 for service products that cost 50 cents to print. These black devils are off their rockers. They don't feel awkward giving state ID to coppers. Highwaymen think killing the bay is gonna stop us. You better think nowadays, fam, use your head. The only savior is you, priesthood is dead. You better think nowadays, fam, use your head. The only savior is you, priesthood is dead. You better think nowadays, fam, use your head. The only savior is you, priesthood is dead. You better think nowadays, fam, use your head. The only savior is you, priesthood is dead.
We declare our rights on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights of a human being in this society, on this earth, in this day, which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary.
Black History Month you find ridiculous.
You're going to relegate my history to a month? Oh, come on. What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? Well, come on.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay. Which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't.
Oh. Why not? Do you want one?
No.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man. And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you a gangster?
Black power, my ass. See y'all just playing the ass posing, frontin', no bustin', or dirty cock gun button. At least more's right, rich, trying to do something. Pen has my weapon, feathers up and turbans, no bluffing. Don't get it twisted, sort of more get handcuffing. Judges dismiss cases, prosecutors cussing, telling my guys recuse themselves or get sued. Civil right leaders are conscious blacks marching on news, stopping traffic of people that didn't kill their sons and daughters. In Canaanland, we call y'all bright and out of order. Nationality has me awake like a sleep disorder, while most wear blinders, my peripherals broader. For the record, I sweat in nervous court recorders. In Admiralty, maritime shores, Moors walk on water. Ancients return with no cures, no sight blurred, while they stay killing their minds and saying they learn.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster.
Your forefathers had names before they became slaves. Seems like today it's only nicknames and pain. You should be learning so pain could stop from these vermin. German Nazi Inquisitionists enslaving with sermons. Declared independence, still giving Moors reverence. Talking treaties with Muslims at Oval Office entrance. To the entrance masses, keep them docile and passive. Killing them, corralling blacks, acting like hostile fascists. Take oaths to break them, unless it's from the Lord. They give profits, we take them and neglect ancestors. Playing Mr. Tuffy, smoking a Dutch from the same master. Bullies stealing your money for lunch. Wanna drink from their bowl cause they spike their punch. With Clorox, I'm not guessing, but I have a hunch. I can say I stand up to mercenary punks, while you Facebook posing with Glocks cocked and shotguns pumped.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster.
If you got guns and use them on targets moving. Try KKK badge carriers in your hood cruising. I'm not promoting violence, it's a point I'm proving. Moore's methods do work, but Coons disapproving. Khalid calling you out, but you're attacking the sheep and wanna show me how good you are with your hands and feet. Never challenge a cop when they arresting your brother, or will wear hoods and hold skittles one after another. Acting with lethal weapons, you Mel Gibsons and Glovers. Shot in the back, I'm watching you suffer. Black standing on corners in seconds, life smothered. She forgave him for his son's death. Listen to mother, listen to common exercising his five senses. To end racism, stop looking through racial lenses. Look at constitutional, not civil defenses. Stop marching, the only thing that pickets is fences.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster. Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster. I've never heard of it. Never heard of it.
But once we find our nationality and serve that nationality, we'll do for ourselves what needs to be done.
Keep thinking it's games, you already know these beasts kill you on camera, leave you niggas dead in the streets. You're still handcuffed and bloody, but no 911 calls, bystander effect in full effect. So watching with y'all, mind blowing, watching my people holding up traffic of innocent people. My people need to get their ass kicked. Marching and picketing is most cowardice and funkified, while dead bodies just multiply. Sisters killed in their cell. You claim it's hell you raised and burned down your own community, not one police station. You love pork chops, but I see no police bacon. And when it comes to revolution, most of y'all are faking.
All ethnic groups in this country understand they got a nationality. Because you answer to such stupid words like
Black lives don't matter, but you still claim black. Rather film someone get choked out, but won't choke back. And the one that uploads first page charges trumped up. What you think will happen when President Trump's up? More killing and murders of stateless herds. Hoods are concentration camps now, ghettos are birds. Gun stores short on ammo, they're melting down church bells. Black seek shelter in temples where God doesn't dwell. That's why a foreigner can walk in and shoot up your service. Praying to invisible gods, give you the curses. You pray to relinquish, that's none of my business. I suggest you nationalize with the quickness. I suggest you study law, stop with the big shit. In your face, I see them spray the pepperish liquid, then pouring white milk on your face. I thought that milk was the devil. Some weapons drown the noise level. Boys, you rebel.
So you answer such stupid words like Negro and color and black. You have
The point that I'm
nationality.
making, blacks are mistaken. Call them highwaymen, not cracker pigs or bacon. Taking your tax dollars and riot gear, they relaxing. Cause in a black status, don't even think about a class action. Don't even think about rights being respected without getting injected. I see you infected. Then the same ones that violate the laws you re-elected. Your vote matters more than black lives, feel disrespected. Control the Negroes, looks tested and perfected. That's why about being black, I'm skeptic and left it. My people are tripping, walking with arms like panthers who got nowhere in the 60s, so that's not the answer. And black leader, race war, instigator puppets, teach, kill those who killed us as justice. But have they ever killed? I think not. If they did it, TSA, nobody to show. Yellow envelope, money in escrow, accounts overseas, not in democracies, live in hypocrisies. It's all de jure mockeries, bureaucracies, vampiric, but most can't hear it. It's only the attitude. The regalia is not clan spirit. Until my people wake up, your struggle for rights continue. And your children's organs end up on the elite menu. You love text, but delete the messages. More send you with no status. You're in the jurisdiction and venue of the same beast system you attempt to defeat. Only as Moors will you get them on the heels of their feet. Of the same beast system you attempt to defeat. Only as Moors will you get them on the heels of your feet.
The name of the people must relate them instantaneously to land, history, and culture. And anytime you call a people by that right name, anytime you call a people, name a people, and fail to relate them back to land, history, and culture, you have called them out of their name. There's no black man or black owner. There's nothing wrong with the word black. Nothing wrong with it at all. Only it doesn't relate to a country. The name of every people in the world relate to the country. And once you think instantaneously of land, you think of nationality.
Islam Moors. Peace and love to all the Moors. Been waiting for this one. Hard out the envelope. Hard out the envelope. Let my people go. 300 notes. Don't go buy it though. I'm just saying. Don't go buy it. Right, don't go buy it. So give honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And we give honors to the forerunner, Marcus Garvey. Honors to the forerunner, Marcus Garvey. Because Europeans knew he was on it. He was more too advanced for his people. Because you know the Negroes and stuff like that, right? He was too advanced for his people. Right? He was too advanced for his people. Marcus Garvey. People really didn't get what the point was. But some Europeans got what the point was. And as a nation, notice the principle is notice the agent. So when they found out, they let everybody know what's up. Modern Europeans in America, when they found out about Marcus Garvey, they let all these Europeans know what's up. Right? So do your own research on Ernest Cox. Do your own research on Ernest Cox. We talked about him already because people were trying to say Marcus Garvey is a sellout because he knew these people. Well, we got the book now that he wrote for Marcus Garvey, modern European. Got a book for sale, $300. But he wrote that to Marcus Garvey. Drilling the truth. Look, who's drilling at 6:48 p.m.? There has to be a law, drilling in the truth. You can't stop this tidal wave, this tsunami. You can't stop the tsunami. It's the Aquarian age. And you already know we don't hold back anything because we already know what's up. We already know what's up. We're Moors. We're the last people think you should be thinking we don't know what's going on. We're the last people. The first ones that you should come to is always the last ones that you end up going back to because you didn't start with them from the beginning. Drill the truth in. Drill it in. Drill it in. Making it part of every part. But we already know, we're only here to get the two people back there. You know, we're only going to get the two people. We're not talking to Moors, who they already got their birthright and all that stuff. They've been Moors since however long they've been Moors. They've been already kidnapped and all that stuff. They already got their stuff stolen. They already had all the BS happen to them. They're still here as Moors. So those badge guys proving something to you. Moors been active. Only active Moors know what that's about. So, you could sit back and play like you know something. But if you haven't exercised, probably shouldn't be talking. If you haven't applied it and gotten a result, if you haven't applied it and gotten a result, then you shouldn't be talking. And then if you got results, you shouldn't be showing off and charging people $300 so you can give them the results so they can save themselves. And it's real right now. You're either righteous or you're opportunist. Remember, we're not talking to Moors right now who know already. We're talking to newly awakened Moors who think they know something, but really, you don't even know that it's your own. You're looking at some European is who's violating you. There ain't no European violating you. Europeans down with the program, like we're going to show you right now. They're down with the program. They already know what's up. It's your dumbass doesn't know what's up. Noble Drew Ali told the Moors, I brought you everything it takes to save a nation. Now take it and save yourself. And he was holding up the 101 questionnaire. He was holding up the Holy Quran of the Moor Science Temple. The end of time and fulfilling of the prophecies. The last prophet in these days is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared divinely in due time by Allah to redeem men from their sinful ways and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. John the Baptist was the forerunner of I Am in those days, to warn and stir up the nation and prepare them to receive the divine creed which was taught by I Am. In these modern days, there came a forerunner that was divinely prepared by the great God Allah, and his name is Marcus Garvey, who did taught and warn the nations of the earth to prepare to meet the coming prophet, who was to bring the true and divine creed of Islam, the true and divine creed of Islam. And his name is Noble Drew Ali, the true and divine creed of Islam. That's a separate Islam than the Islam that you see and think that that's Islam. The true and divine creed of Islam is not the same stuff that you see those guys doing over there. Even if you go into Sufism, we're not even talking about them. Because our prophet's Noble Drew Ali. That's who our prophet is. And our prophet prophesied that Garvey is going to be the one that's going to get them ready. We already know the Negroes ain't. Negroes are, they've taken the useless role. They're done for. They're already, like I said, they're already steaks on the plate. They're already that. So Marcus Garvey was so honored by some Europeans. Remember, this is John the Baptist we're talking about, right? Keep in mind. Right? Keep in mind. Every time we go and make the reference of some individual, place, always, at all times, go check the metaphysical meaning of that, just to be sure that you get the message that was being presented to you by these messiahs and prophets. Metaphysical meaning: John the Baptist, forerunner of Jesus Christ. He signifies a high intellectual perception of truth, but one not yet quickened of the spirit. Right? So John the Baptist, Marcus Garvey, signifies a high intellectual perception of truth, but one not yet quickened with the spirit, which is the nationality and the birthrights, and the true and divine creed of Islam. That the prophet that was ordained from Moors over there, what do you think? You're opening up the Quran and sultans in there, and you don't think they know or something? Like, why is the Sultan in the Moorish Quran? How come the Sultan's not in the Quran Gospel? How come the Sultan's not in Unto Thee I Grant? How come the Sultan's not in the book that these plagiarize and all that stuff? How come? Garvey signifies high intellectual perception of truth. He had everything except nationality. Tell me what they didn't have. Tell me what you and they didn't have. Tell me. What were they missing? What were they missing? Any of the great debater idiots out there, don't forget you could push the button if you think Garvey's a sellout. If you think Garvey's a sellout, push the button. Remember Drew Ali said he's John the Baptist. And John the Baptist signifies high intellectual perception of truth, which Garvey was there. You put something on the record that UNIA was missing. Only thing they were missing was nationality. I think he's the forerunner. He was closest to where Drew Ali was on. Where was closer than him to Noble Drew Ali's ideal? It's a lot more. We gotta put you on the thing.
Islam Grand Sheik. Islam Lord. No, I was just listening, Grand Sheik, because, and I'm glad you're basically talking about it now, because, well, and you've been talking about it for years, back in the forerunner, Marcus Garvey. And you was pushing Marcus Garvey hard, Grand Sheik, even, before we became Moors, you know what I'm saying? You knew about Marcus Garvey and whatnot. Yeah. So for people to even call him a sellout, it's like crazy, like that's just information too, because nobody never called Marcus Garvey any of this stuff until they found out that Marcus Garvey is now tied to the Moors. Now all of a sudden Garvey's a sellout, and because I never heard of this ever in my life. Marcus Garvey was a sellout, but now that he's tied to Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey was a sellout too. It's like, now how did that happen? When did that start? When did this start? The Marcus Garvey sellout stuff. This is all new. I wasn't growing up hearing about, because Steve Coakley would have went in on that. Steve Coakley would have went in on that.
There was W.E.B. Du Bois. There was him.
Right.
But he's Negro guy.
Yep.
So it's not really, both of them are the same. You know what I mean? That's the two rats in the same hole. You're gonna have some issues.
But let me ask you this, Grand Sheik, because I remember Steve Coakley saying it. Now I want to know your opinion on it too. About people, from a lack of information, they may not know what we know. But I know it still goes back to you being a sellout knowingly or unknowingly. But my question is, how, because the way Steve Coakley made it say, look, like, are we supposed to kick out Marcus Garvey because he didn't know the information that we find out now? Like now, well, Garvey, you're a sellout, but we just found this information out now. You know what I mean? Like when they see the picture with Marcus Garvey and that guy, did Marcus Garvey know the information that we know now about that guy at the time he was standing next to him?
Yeah.
Like I never thought to ask those questions until Steve Coakley brought it out. Like you got to go deeper. You know what I mean? And then he said, when you look at a man's works and the organization he was with and stuff like that, Marcus Garvey wasn't no Boule member.
Right.
You know what I mean? But everybody else who went against Marcus Garvey was Boule members.
Yeah, was
that.
Right. Or Mason or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Straight. Yeah. Because I can't see the work that he did, the work that Marcus Garvey did, that anybody should have an issue. Like, what do you have an issue with? Like
We're
they
not
had
going to call Steve Coakley a sellout, are we? He
right.
said black all day.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We're not calling Bobby Hemming a sellout. He said black all day.
Yeah.
You know, we're not all the master teachers said it. We're not going to call them sellout because when you look at their works, you
That's
know,
what counts.
that's what counts. But when we, you know, when we tell these new so-called conscious people that we're Moors and stuff, and they're blatantly, oh, we're not Moors, and it's no, well, that's not. When none of the master teachers was, you know, go in, they would talk about us being. Steve Coakley would mention the Moors, you know, do little clues and tell stories. He even the words "Noble Ali" came out of Steve Coakley's mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like they didn't acknowledge Moors. They all acknowledge Moors. It's this new crowd now.
Yeah. Playing like they don't want to give honors. Yeah. Playing like they don't want to give honors. Right. But Let My People Go by Ernest Sevier Cox, the author of White America. A message from white men who wish to keep the white race white to black men who wish to keep the black race black, including the terms of an allegiance between these groups against the whites who wish to mix with the Negroes and the Negroes who wish to mix with the whites. To a black Negro making Herculean effort to do for the Negro what the greatest of white Americans sought to do for the Negro, and encourage the Negro to do for himself. To Marcus Garvey, a martyr for the independence and integrity of the Negro race. Modern European. Page 16, The New Nation. I have seen much of the homeland of your ancestors, much of the coastland, and I have traveled 5,000 miles through the interior. I have seen your race at work and at play. I have talked with tribesmen from those tribes, the ancestors of some of you who were stolen. I know that if you had been born in Africa and not in America, you too would be entitled to build your homes on tribal land. So this is where the missing piece was with Garvey and everybody else, that nobody was talking about nationality. They were talking about nation, but they weren't talking about nationality. So these modern Europeans who realize that these people are stateless, instead of us integrating with them, let them have their own stuff over there.
Yeah.
And then we have our stuff over here. Right? Now, if you have all the tools that are necessary to be a nation, and then we could look at the pictures of the UNIA convention, Moore Science Temple convention, and know that we were qualified to do what we're supposed to do. We're qualified to do what it is that we're doing if we had all that. They know that they don't want you born here. Why? Because Drawley already laid it down. He's 1900s during the time of Garvey and during the time of Noble Drawley, who we already know, everybody knew who Noble Drawley was back then. Every politician knew who Noble Drawley was in the 1920s. Right? Everybody knew who Marcus Garvey was. You have charters in Africa and all that stuff. Obviously, people know who they are without internet.
Yep. And so the president of Liberia called here, and Steve Coakley said, called here and told the president at the time that basically send him some money, and then he'll we can't have that Marcus Garvey stuff here to be able to cause trouble with other nations across the planet. That's what the president of Libya said when Marcus Garvey was trying to get to Liberia. And he wrote a letter stating the fact that, well, Marcus Garvey can't come here and try to start trouble with other nations across the planet. That's what the president, who looked like us, said about Marcus Garvey at the time. And Steve Coakley said it too, another Boule member.
Of course. Of course. Now we know as Moors, we got the prophet, we got the full knowledge. So we already know we come from Africa and all that stuff. So, and the black, white, and all that stuff, you're going to excuse all that because you already know he's modern Europeans talking to some Negroes. So, of course, he's going to talk like a fraud. Can't talk civilized to Negroes. You have to talk to them the massa, and you have to go slow with the Negroes. You have to go slow with them. Right? In a true sense, the white people of America have deprived you of property rights, which would have been yours had they not removed your ancestors from Africa. It therefore does not seem unreasonable to me to support a policy by which the American nation shall acquire the American nation shall acquire African territory and divide the land among you as our government acquired the West and subdivided the land, giving homes to its citizens. Now keep in mind, we know we're from here. Right? We know that we're from here. But it does not seem unreasonable to me to support a policy by which the American nation shall acquire an African territory. What American nation? Because remember, if this is 1900s, then American wasn't U.S. back then. When he said the American, the 1900s, they weren't talking about U.S. Usually said American citizens. He's not talking about U.S. He's talking about United States of America, the territories, not the people, not the government, not the territories. America, American, America, American. America's a continent. People don't come from continents. So Americans. That has something to do with a government or whatever, because people can't be continents. Are you a continent? Islam more.
Islam.
You have anything on that part there?
But because it's interesting, because when you said that the people can't be continents, they swear up and down that they can. They'll argue to death. Come on in all day and swear that you ask these people their nationality, they'll straight tell you that they're American.
Yep.
Straight tell you that they're American. Anything not to be more. Anything. They'd rather be anything but a more. Anything. I've seen, they got the new stuff now. Well, not new, but they're going harder with it. With the a star being, and nothing to do with here. Everything is out in space in the stars. That's who they are. I said, dang, man. Any, but when you pull ID out, it's still, and they don't say nothing about spaceships or nothing like that. It says Negro status.
Yeah. Negro.
But it really, when the more you read though, it sounds like Marcus Garvey he just didn't say the word nationality.
Yeah.
Like everything was nationality.
Like that's what they were on. That's what they were on. Because again, when you go to American, they tell you the copper colored, and as soon as you see colored, you already know that yeah, we could kind of say we're American, yeah. We say Moorish American because we're Moors on an American continent, so we're Moorish American. But our descendancy is Moorish, not American. They're not descendants of America. How? How are you descendant of a continent? Continent gave birth to you?
Yep.
So it's not we're not American, but not in the perspective how they're trying to use it to not be United Statesian.
Right.
Right. Because someone from United States should be United Statesian, not American.
It's the only place on the planet that does that too. So-called Chinese don't become something else after they like how you're an American, but you're a United Statesian now too. Like you're well, if you're I'm from the United States, then you ask them, well, what's your nationality? Oh, they're American. It's the only place that you can do that strange talk. Like you don't do that nowhere else. They don't do it anywhere else. And it's starting to get even stranger because I was looking up different places again, so-called states. They have Missouri listed as a country. I said, now how y'all do that? If you Google Missouri as a country, it's gonna come right up. Missouri's a country now. I said, how are they doing that?
Everything. Once there's color.
Yep.
Once there's color, anything goes.
It says Missouri is a state country. I said, now how are you doing that?
And then if they can be a state country, then why can't we say this is Morocco?
Right.
If they could say Missouri is a state and nobody's going to make videos about them talking about that, they're crazy and all that stuff. Look at us, look at the books, look at the whatever. That's not true. How come they're not doing that with them? As soon as Morris said this is Morocco, oh, here they come.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here they come, trying to tell Morris that we can't something. Why can't we, but everyone else can?
They did that from its inception. These people supposed to just be 13 British colonies. I don't even know where there's 50 states. All of this other stuff even came from. It's supposed to be 13 British colonies. Everything else is an act. Everybody else is acting. And been doing it for years now.
Yeah. However, such generosity may seem unreasonable to some whites who have profited by your toil but begrudge any form of restitution. We whites who sympathize with you recognize that that portion of the Negro race which now dwells in the United States was severed from its African possessions by fraud and violence. We propose to restore this portion of the race to the land of its ancestors. We propose to give to each individual material possessions not less but greater than those of which his ancestors were disposed, not less but greater than those which you now possess. These are modern Europeans talking to the Negroes. This modern European, respected by all these Europeans and all that, talking to Negroes, putting them on game. That if you really think that you're not from here and you want to leave, we'll pay for you to leave.
Mm-hmm.
We propose to give to each individual material possessions not less but greater than those which his ancestors were deposed. Remember this 1920s, right?
Yeah.
Now, what if instead of them going back, they stay here and start all these other fake nations in order to bury the idea of the unification that was happening during that time and to get how many ever Negroes that they can out of here. They did good with the Hebrew whoever's who are getting exiled right now from Israel because they played their self going back over there when they're home here. When we're talking about 20s and nobody's talking about nationality, and you look at the convention picture and you see what was really going on during that time, and realize that we were a nation. And that is now just trickles of the nation. And everyone has their bucket and they're getting as much as they could get with regard to the resources they have. But this stuff's supposed to be flowing. This wasn't supposed to stop. We're supposed to be inheriting Negro issues from our foremothers and forefathers.
You know, what Steve said, everybody wanted to take the check. Nobody wanted to follow the Marcus Garvey plan with the self-sufficiency. Woodrow Wilson came in with that New Deal with the grants, with the sign up and get this program, get these stamps, get this, get that, and everybody followed on with that. That's what ended up happening. Right. The so-called black college elites, they took on the get an education, get a good job, the big house, the white. Now this Steve Covey's saying it all. Yeah. Steve Covey's saying it all. And this is what's happening. Nobody wanted to take on the Marcus Garvey self-sufficiency plan.
Yeah, they don't want to do that work. Yeah.
They wanted to take on, get grants.
Yeah.
get subsidized rent, get food stamps, get help, get good job, get you know, I'm a doctor, I'm a this, I'm a that. Nobody wanted to be shaman. Nobody wanted, you know, our own whatever we were, you know, they wanted to be colonists, Eurocentric thinking. They wanted those materialistic things. That's what they wanted. They wanted that. And when he said that, I said that was the whole thing. And then have children, make their children grow up to be, oh, you go to school, you go to college, get you a good job. You know, we all got that.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was either that or sports.
Yep.
That's the story that we get.
How you know?
Yeah, see? Because it still continues. It still continues. Nothing for your people, for your nation building, for you to get out of the suffrage that y'all going through. We don't even, you know, our people don't even know they suffering. They ain't even thinking about it. They're not thinking about their land being stolen. They're not thinking about that at all. They're thinking about, you know, the next note they're gonna get. How am I gonna create this whatever so I can get all of this so-called money? You know, that's what their mind is on. Nationality has nothing to do with that. They can't make notes off of nationality.
Yeah.
That's the whole problem. When nationality comes around, we got to be consanguinity in how I treat. Like I said years ago, I can never charge Little Yusuf for anything. So if we all treated each other like, you know, how I treat my son, I already know that this is all over. But we can't do that because it got to be a hierarchy. I got to have more than you. You got to have less than me. You guys got to be, you know, the middle people. Then you got this the classification BS has to continue. They love the classification. You know, that's why we take the pictures. I'm on vacation here. I'm at the restaurant here. I'm driving, I'm traveling in this new conveyance. Look at the rims on this. See? And then selling packages to get that stuff. Not selling packages to create a school. They're selling packages to get chains, to get gold teeth. You know, now they got the real garb. And it's like, brother, it's crazy. But you just robbed your people to get all of that. And then robbed them to get private commercial paper that's owned by the same people who you complaining about. But you're gonna do your people wrong to get that. And now we get, you know, the unlimited, the bottomless bank account, the claim your birth certificate. But remember, there's no money. Remember? Remember? The whole time I'm like, yo, what is this claim your birth certificate stuff? When you first came in, it was there's no money. So anytime you go to court and they try to sue you for, you know, your property, or they're trying to, there's no money. Remember the Clearfield doctrine? Remember? Mm-hmm. But then when it comes to you getting it, oh, now it's money. See, more than picking and choosing.
Yeah.
You can't pick and choose. That's called straddling the fence.
And there was some. Where was it in this one? Where was it? Again. But there was somewhere in here that it was talking about the same thing. Everybody have their side and no straddling the fence.
Yeah.
Somewhere in here. Let not your fears be aroused by the claim of your enemies that you have no right to return to your homeland of your ancestors. Did not your ancestors have tribal rights there? Who paid them for these rights? The Goths, centuries after their departure from their home on the Baltic, asserted tribal rights to their former home. If the greatest of the Nordic tribes could justify assert claim to land which they abandoned of their own free will, how much stronger is your claim to a land of which your ancestors were dispossessed by force? And then, oh yeah, don't forget Happy Pale History Month.
There you go. Yeah.
For all the celebrators out there. Right. Keep in mind, how much stronger is your claim to a land of which your ancestors were dispossessed by force? You better know they're not talking about over there only. Because the activity of slavery, most of it happened over here.
Yeah.
The only thing you know from over there is that they had you in some dungeon and then they put you on a ship. And that's all you know. So could it be possible that the people were already here? And there's really no claim to land over there on the continent of Africa? And if there is, it's probably about 800,000 people. And that's giving them a little bit extra.
And that wasn't 1636 when they was, or whenever, when they say slavery started. What year was it? Slavery started?
16.
That didn't happen then. They still was scared to get in the ocean. So it wasn't happening then. If anything, I'll give them the beginning or late 1700s, almost 1800s.
From 1800s. From 1800s.
And I'm gonna say like a more. I don't even know about that. See, Grand Sheet, when you said about 8,000, I don't even know if it was that. I don't even know how they did it. I started thinking about stuff like when I remember years ago, Brother Miz has said, I think he said George Washington was born on a plantation, and I was like, what? Yeah. Like that bugged me out. You know what I mean? Like hearing that, took me down a whole rabbit hole. So what I found out was, okay, a plantation is a corporation. So if everybody who says, okay, oh, I'm from New York, that's why it's slavery, because you're just saying you're from a plantation. That's your plantation you're from. That's the plantation. It's the so-called states. The states are they're the corporation. That's the Emancipation Proclamation when they did the transfer. They just said that they transferred it to states being the plantations. Because when you look up states is a corporation. A corporation is the same thing as a plantation. You're still born in a plantation. All of us who say or agree to the I was born here state crap. As soon as you say that, you're born in a plantation. So soon as they be like, you know, Virginia, they're from Virginia or whatever, those are all plantations. All of them. All by definition, by, you know, the definition, not how we think, you know, slave whip his back thing. Like that's not real. It was always about ownership.
Yeah.
About stealing somebody's land, naming it that, And then once I name it that place, if y'all agree that this place is that, and now you're in the Indians of that, the IAN of that name that they just added, then y'all all property. That's the trick. They've been doing it for hundreds of years. That's how they get us with those what they call them, the census and all of that. That's ain't nothing. They just checking on their plantation, making sure that the plantation got enough memberships or members to keep their plantation going. That's what the census was about for the Roman property. Make sure that those businesses got enough people to be functioning. But if nobody does the census thing, that means they don't have any members. But we voluntarily get the census things by what? Because we want anything that they give out for free. Those stimulus checks, those whatever. As soon as we back to keeping them functioning as a business, because as soon as they give out something for free, we're right there to get it. And that's what keeps them functioning.
Yeah.
Somebody said it years ago, we're financing our own slavery. That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Paying for it too. Paying for it.
Paying for our own enslavement.
Yeah.
Crazy. Crazy. The new nation will solve your problems and solve ours. For we wish a white nation as you wish a black nation. At present, we have our fears while you have your humiliations. The new nation will remove your fears, remove our fears, and your humiliations. You may not realize how great our fear, and we may not realize how great your humiliation. Our fear is great. It has reached into the hearts of the mightiest leaders of our race, has produced and brought forth unqualified declarations of purpose to maintain the white race in its integrity and the white race in its sovereignty. They sound like you in your own land. They sound like you in your own land, and you're sounding like some go back to Africa stuff. Or you're black, orange, pink, blue people. Abraham Lincoln, by everyone recognized as an outstanding friend of the Negro race, was nevertheless a white man of white men. His viewpoint was that of the white man, accused of encouraging the equalization of the blacks and the whites, and the sponsoring a program which would lead to the mixing of the races. He disarmed his accusers by a declaration which should have prevented the Civil War. Quote, I will say then that I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of bringing about in any way the social and political equality of the white and black races, that I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of making voters or jurors of Negroes, nor of qualifying them to hold office, nor to intermarry with white people. And I will say in addition to this, that there is a physical difference between the white and black races, which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together on terms of social and political equality. And inasmuch as they cannot so live while they do remain together, there must be the position of superior and inferior. And I, as much as any other man, am in favor of having the superior position assigned to the white race. Speech at Charleston, Illinois, September 18th, 1858. They're not going to take you there, though. that if you want to play integration, no problem. Then white is superior and black is inferior. Period. Period. If you want to play the black game, if you want to play the civil rights game, if you want to play all that discrimination and all that stuff, no problem. Just know when you're playing, the rules are white people are superior and black people are inferior. Those are the rules of that race game. Now, you can choose if you want to play or if you're going to stop playing games. Right? Europeans slapping you people right now. Slapping you. Letting you know what it is. Even Lincoln, who freed you, knew what it was.
Yeah.
And everybody knew he was Melungeon and all that stuff. He wasn't a white man. Right? They had Lincoln on the penny because his skin was copper colored. Right there on the penny. He's copper colored. Why they have him with pantaloons and a scimitar and all that stuff in pictures?
So race must be a political venue. It's not. Yep. Yeah.
It's the only way. It's the only way that it could run.
Mm-hmm.
It can't exist anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. And that's why they can make up rules as they go. And that's why they do it.
That too. Yeah.
They can just make up rules. It's their game. They made it up. French Block Bonaire, Frederick Boombach. His predecessors, they made up the game. And like you were saying, if you want to participate in it, if you want to play in their game, black is lower than white in that game. That's what happens when you play their game. But then you got your so-called Negro leaders who led us over the years into forcefully playing that game. Not even thinking it was a game, not even teaching us that it's not even real. It's a fraudulent thing. It's really for benefits to make, because the so-called race thing is huge for business. If it was the whole race paradigm is the whole main reason why so-called United States can even function as a business is because of race. The whole concept from like classification to birth certificates, social security numbers to where you domicile that, when they do those so-called zip codes and stuff, when they be sending us food, all of that stuff is based off of classic race classification. Their whole thing is based off of race. The whole thing. That's why they have to promote it. They have to promote the black, white BS. Because without it, they don't exist. They don't even exist without that concept. Because then you would have to go to nationality. Now we have to say who you are and who we are. And now you don't have subject matter jurisdiction, territorial. See, that's why they keep playing you guys are black and we're white. Because in that game, there is no subject matter jurisdiction. And if there is, white is more superior.
Right. Exactly. Game over.
Yep.
Game over.
But your leaders are leading you into that game. That reminds me of that jurisprudence book when it said United States only exists because we agree that it exists. That's the only reason why it exists, because we all agree that it exists. If we don't agree that it exists, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So it's the people's fault that again, back to financing your own enslavement. So because the way we think,
Mm.
yep, you are enslaved. Yep, there you go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. The issue which led to the Civil War grew out of the attempt of the white North to prevent the Southern slaveholder from bringing the Negro to the great Northwest. Northwest? The followers of Lincoln were the first to shed their blood for the ideal of a white nation. The South may have been politically right in the Civil War. Certainly, it was biologically wrong, and race is more than politics. The giving of suffrage to the Negro was opposed overwhelmingly by the white North, as shown by the votes of her people when the 15th Amendment was submitted to them. The 15th Amendment was put through Congress not by the white people of the North, but by a powerful group of politicians with a purpose to use the black South to loot the white South. Search wherever you will in American history, and you will find the white man's fear for the color line, even as you find your humiliation beneath the color line. The new nation which is to arise from your labor will have no need of a color line, and the nation which you leave will have no need of a color line, for neither will have a color problem. In the new nation, your people may look up without the form of the towering white man obscuring their vision of the skies. And here, the white man may look down and not see a subject people with its face to the homeland of its fathers. In the new nation, you may have the continuing of a problem of your own, the problem of the mixed breeds. The color line accredits the mixed breeds to your race, but the black man and the yellow man may settle their problem peacefully as we, the white, the black, settle ours. The mixed breeds who labor shoulder to shoulder with you in the new nation, you will welcome to a peaceful fellowship. To the mixed breeds who are not willing to labor with you, may be given a province of their own, where they may have liberty to demonstrate without hindrance the superiority they claim. I remember Lee was saying, have your own. Marcus Garvey was saying, have your own. Noble Ali said, your nationality, your prophet, your temple. He says your, doesn't that mean it's your own? And if it's your own, shouldn't you be doing something with it if it's yours? If this is your nation, shouldn't you be doing something with it? If it's yours, the Europeans said, everybody have their own. Him not being able to see the towering white man over him, and the white man not being able to look down and see, it is not the most objectifying stuff that you ever read. Because remember, he's white supremacist and all that. They're about their nation. They're about all the pale people being with the pale people. No integration, none of that. We just want to have our own whatever. Everybody else does that in the world. Have their own. The only people who don't get it, the only people who don't get it are these Negroes in America. Because they want to be everything else in the book except Moors. Not knowing by not being Moors is why you have to go through all the BS. Because if you're a Moors, you'll be a nation and there wouldn't be an issue. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that our people don't get it. But it's very fortunate that we got it. Honest all the Moors worldwide. Going to get on here and give you a little something. Because I got this book and the European killing these Negroes. Killing them. Killing them. It's a lot more.
It's a lot, Green Sheet. Green Sheet, you got any updates? What's going on in Canaanland as far as the truck drivers,
No, they just stiff armed them in certain parts, telling them that, you know, if they don't move, they're gonna start kidnapping people and you know, move your stuff. You stopped enough traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So they showed some of them getting tackled today. They're saying that they're fining and they're kidnapping protesters right now. Which, you know, if they do that, they're still not gonna get the stuff delivered, so it doesn't really make sense what's going on. You know, it's pretty.
Yeah, that don't make sense.
Right? You want them to be able to do his stuff, but then, you know, or to kidnap them could be the way to maybe get them to get the vax or whatever. Like, you're not getting released until you take the stuff.
Oh yeah. Or, you know, just get them out of the way, get them off the street. You already know, because there's always somebody who's gonna come in and take the check.
Yeah.
And start driving them trucks.
Straight.
Always somebody that's willing to. I told you, we finance our own enslavement. Somebody's gonna come take the check.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to eat the steak. They don't want to keep eating slop, Green Sheep. They don't want that.
Yeah.
They want steak.
They want steak. They're done with the slop. Sick and tired of the slop.
Ain't nothing wrong with the slop. I like, you know, it's either gonna be cold or it's gonna be hot.
It's if sometimes you might chew it, you might not just swallow right away.
Yeah.
You know I mean?
Hey, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it either way. I enjoy it.
Go wrong with the slop, yo.
I can't go wrong, man. That steak make you sleepy. You all drowsy, clogged, can't even use the bathroom. Look at you. Look at you. It was good though. Yeah, I bet you it was.
Getting caught by Agent Smiths because you couldn't run it.
Yep.
Like, come on. Why are you eating steak in the Matrix? What do you mean you're eating? Islam to all the Moors.
No.
Peace and love to all. And to all, a good night. Honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Honors to the forerunner, Marcus Garvey. Supreme honors to all the Moors worldwide.
Islam.
All the Moors worldwide. If you know you're
Worldwide.
black colored, honors to you. You have any closing ones, Mark?
It is Islam. Honest to the great to the Canaanland Moors and their platform. I was thinking about that earlier. You know, there's not a lot of platforms out there where Moors can push the button and, you know, get on here, talk about the research that they got. You know, Moors can tune in throughout the day and just be able to hear other Moors who are like-minded like them speaking and talking. I always think about that. Like, we go through just hearing colored talk the whole day. And, you know, just to be able to, for a moment out of my day, I can hear some de jour talking. I give thanks for that, Grand Sheik, big time. And honest to the Prophet. You know, he's the whole thing, the whole shebang. Islam.
Islam. Peace and love, Moors. It's about to be up. It's about to be up. But we'll build. Islam to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to all the mothers. Islam. In the streets of T.O., everybody pushing a screw face. Won't stop street life, always facing a new case. Hates baseball, wears caps for Blue Jays fitted. No brown, we don't need a green to get lifted. A society of multicultures, feeding off the black dead carcass like vultures. While they feed blacks, say you insult us daily, but make drug mules of their hood babies. When I was in school, we used to see vagrants. They still bums today asking for change payments. Sisters turning to mothers younger. Youth are do programs for starving or hunger. Roaches run on their face while they sleep. In beds with bugs infesting the mattress and sheets. Many little brothers resting in peace, cause they followed their big brothers that ran these streets. Drug dealers calling themselves doctors and shrinks. To stop breast cancer, wear a shirt that's pink. To stop youth violence, get rid of the guns I see. Youth need to be taught about Drew Ali. That would lower the crime stats. Youth have no job, so here's a free CD of my tracks. Bag ladies and buggy pushing men. Drink Lysol with their drug addict friends. Pimps pushing new kicks in little sis face. But she's too scared to say that she got raped. And he got raped too, wanting to be a singer. Mayors and judges drinking their bloodage for dinner. Upstairs, I cover my ears in tears. Little bro beating his mom, he's under 20 years. Every day of his life, these streets are tripe. Started selling, now he smokes the Snow White. Blind man plays the sax. Girl run over playing with blackberries on train tracks. Can't trust everybody you know. That's how it is in the streets of T.O. Baby needs new shoes, but daddy got the newest when he chills with his crew. A young girl is undressed in the back like slave cargo, praying for help from Harpo in T.O. My boy Lex stayed inside his apartment. Gumma died of sickle cell, my heart didn't harden. Blew down of an aneurysm. Philly just got shot up by two of his own brethren in T.O. It's a grisly scene. 5-day search, Philly found dead in a ravine. Dead and injured because they shot up a jam. Police chief implemented King Alfred plan. People think it's jokes, but when the smoke clears, you're spilling your beans, handcuffed to a chair. DT's yelling and spitting in your face. Give names, or you won't beat your case. Palms sweating, goosebumps and shakes. It is a snitch, but still, you're gonna get shot in the face. In T.O.
was at the lamppost, enlightened, hoping I land close to some love so I can spread it on every damn coast. Meanwhile, I'm on the side where many men boast. Shit's rough when you got cuffs, keeping your hands close. Lampposts like streets where warriors fight beasts. Running through the six, I hope you wearing the right cleats. Keep a screw face, you might just die over white teeth. F-cops, I hope the killer's smoking the right cheap. For survival, shit could get savage and primal. Something in the water killing us on arrival. Put that on the Bible, put that on the spiritual and tribal. Give thanks for a new day. Look over the city, the view of a blue jay. My nephew might call me over a new J. Represent the city no matter what you say. Keep it true, Faye, from T.O. to the UK.